Hello everyone. How are you? Fine, thank you.
It's really nice to see you generals again. The long-awaited video about the SU-57, this amazing jet that is hold the biggest bomb in the game so far. I got this jet with a great deal in the market, MK2 31 plus, so this is the amazing jet. Now, as you see, the stats is a little bit red. We will remove the Kinjal bomb because it is really big. It's overload the jet, so we can read the stats of the jet. So, as you see, durability 28,665, the speed is 930.2, the afterburn is 2,671.2, the maneuverability is 57. Man, this is really powerful. So, about the upgrade of the jet. This upgrade I got it when I bought the jet. I only unlocked the Kensal in max it, and it is really amazing bomb. Anyways, about all of the upgrades, the more you upgrade the jet, the better it will become. The only downside of the jet, that is the air-to-air missiles, are only available that's in MK1 for slot 1. So the slots, you have seen there is too many weapons you can carry, but the problem is the air-to-air missiles, you can only use the MK1. You are not able to use the MK2 even if you unlock it. You have to pick a slot or that is suitable for bombs, and I don't want to lose that spot, so that is a big problem. Otherwise, it's really powerful jet. I mean, once the enemy sees this jet in the sky, they will be terrified from the deep of their hearts. I mean, man, it's gonna be really scary. I mean, running around with a 1200 caliber bomb, that is really scary. Now, let's see the armament it has. As you see, RVVMD, that is MK1 air-to-air missiles, you can only use this one. You cannot use the MK2. That is a problem of the slot number 1. We'll read the stats of each armament, and let's start it. Here, the RVVMD, damage 6,240, penetration 65, the explosion damage 13,130, the model damage 975, and also the aiming range is 1,300. That is decent. Next we have the missiles. KH-38MLE, damage 23,140, penetration 400, explosion damage 16,640. This is a laser guided missile, so it's really insane. The ground missiles, we have 16,200, penetration 170, the explosion damage 11,700. That is also decent. Next we have the CAP 250, 19,370, penetration 130, the explosion damage 13,910. Now, after that, you have the CAP 500 KR. It's just a better version of the CAP 250. So let's move on to the next armament we have. It is the RVVSD, 6,500 damage, penetration 65, the explosion damage 10,800. But remember, I have the RVVMD upgraded, so there is blue stats that is extra after upgrade. Last we have KH-23, damage 12,900, penetration 800, the module damage 2,500, but it doesn't has any explosion damage. You have to remember that. So it's a little bit not so much. It's also a laser guided missile, but it's I rather use KH-38 MLE. Now we'll use one of the we'll use CAP and KH-38 and KH-23. The last one is Kinjal. We will use it later on. As you see, the damage 45,500, penetration 1,200, the explosion damage 32,500, and the explosion radius 133, the module damage 4,550. Man, these stats are really scary. I mean, I use it in career mode. These missiles and Kinjal missile can each hit direct hit on the hunter carrier. Can you imagine how much damage it can do? Well, as we know, it is the damage after the penetration and the explosion damage. So it's each shot was making 80,000 damage. 80,000 damage. Man, this is impressive because it cover with the radius damage everything. That's why it has a really good damage, and you have to hit the carrier in the middle. Now let's test the armament we have right now. As we have the normal MK1 air-to-air, this is the slot that you can only use this one. You cannot use the second air-to-air missiles. That is the problem. As you see, 8,910, so it's just like that, not so impressive. I mean, it cannot be compared such as with the Armament missiles or the PL-15. They are much more reliable. But the amazing thing that is the machine gun it has, it's really powerful, 150 and it's never gets heated very fast. This is the KH-23. As you see, the damage is really low because it doesn't has explosion damage. It have to only penetrate, and it has a lot of penetration, 800, but as you see, the damage is not so much impressive. But the KH-38, as you see right now, we fire, and yep, that's how it works. That's how it should be. One shot and it's gone. Now let's fire this one. Also 34,000. Man, this is amazing. But this was an ammo rack that we see, detonation ammunition, so that's why it's been one shot. Now let's use the cap 250. We fire. It should be one shot because it's fully upgraded. Let's see. Yep, full destroyed. That is what the cap 250 can do. Now this is a new test, but with the armament that I always use, not just to experiment things. This is the armament I always use. 2 of KH-38 MLE and 1 Kanjal missile, and both slots I use MK1 air-to-air missiles and MK2 air-to-air missiles. As you see, this is the KH-38, 26,000, and it's burning, so it's really insane. So most likely it will be destroyed. We fire again and we test the potential of this amazing missile. As you see, it's really fast and laser guided, so it's really good. As you see, one shot, 34,000. This is really insane. But also detonation ammunition, so it's really good missile to destroy the target and destroy the ammo rack. Now let's fire again at the BRM, that is tier 1. Let's fire and boom. Yeah, this is the potential of the KH-38. Now let's see the missiles, the MK1. As we know, they are just, man, it's not reliable a lot. I mean, it's always doing like 7,000, 6,000. As you see, it's not really impressive. That is why I use an extra, and in the extra slot I use the MK2 air-to-air missiles to have a power of spamming the missiles on the enemy jet, because the potential of the missiles are not very strong. Now let's use the Kanjal missile. We have to aim carefully and make sure we hit the target. We fire, and as you see, it's a little bit hard to control it, but it's made a lot of damage, 23,000, and it is most useful for when you see many enemies together. And let's see the potential of this missile. As you see, it's make almost like 10,000, so it's a little bit better than the MK1, but still it's not really reliable such as the AMRAAM and the PL-15 on the Chinese jets. To be honest, I only like the AMRAAM missiles and the PL-15. The PL-15 because of the wide range it has and the angles that you can fire, and also the AMRAAM because you can laser guide it, so it cannot be deflected by the flares. Now, what's make the jet is impressive, it's the speed it has. I mean, as you see, it's overloaded and still it's going for 2,000. And also when it's out of the missile, it goes like 2,800, 2,900. So it's really amazing jet. And after the upgrade, of course. So in general, what is my opinion about the jet and how much I rate it from 100? At first, the Kanjal missile that make this jet is really impressive. The damage and the the potential of making great damage. Even through the smoke, you can fire it and you will make damage. So anti-aircraft who is using smoke, it doesn't matter. Use smoke or whatever you want. Everything in the smoke is being destroyed. And especially because the anti-aircraft don't having a lot of the HP and lots of armor, so it will make a lot of damage and most likely will destroy it by one shot, as we saw right now. And second, the KH-38 is really amazing. Also, the speed of the jet is really amazing, the maneuverability amazing. Only downside is air-to-air missiles, so I have to rate this jet like let's say 80 from 100, or 85 to be more fair, because come on, if you cannot defend yourself in the sky, it's gonna be tragic. You have to defend yourself, and especially if you're not using the Kanjal, its maneuverability will be really bad and you will lose all the dogfights. So it's really a disaster. So guys, tell me in the comments, do you agree with what I said? Do you like the jet? Do you don't like it? What the downside you have? Feel free to comment and tell me your opinion. So guys, hope you enjoy. See you next time. Bye bye.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.